Hello friends, in this lecture we will discuss about priority scheduling. Priority scheduling is basically an important part of an operating system. In priority scheduling, what we are trying to do is that every process which is allocated to the CPU based upon the priority. Now the question arises in mind, what is priority? Priority means the process number. Every process has a number. Every process has a number, and that process number is basically known as priority. It means that a process with the highest priority will be allocated to the CPU for executing its job. And we know that in operating system or in CPU scheduling, this CPU plays an important role for execution of any process. Now, when we are talking in terms of priority scheduling, it is given to you, suppose we have 4 processes with execution time. BT means burst time, also known as execution time. It is also known as execution time, and priority of each process is given to you. And MS means in milliseconds, right? Any process can be executed with CPU either with the help of preemptive scheduling and with the help of non-preemptive scheduling. This is an example of non-preemptive scheduling where the CPU will execute the process first and then next process will be allocated to the CPU. It means a process will be allocated to the CPU will first process that process, and then after termination of that process, next process will be given to CPU for execution, right? So let us discuss this with the help of an example. Now we have 4 processes with burst time, execution time and priority. We will represent it with the help of Gantt chart. In this chart what we have? We have a rectangular box having processes in it. And how many processes we have? We have 4 processes. So first priority is given is for process P2. So this will be allocated first. Then second priority is of process P4. It will be allocated second. Then third priority is of process P1. It will be allocated third. And finally, process P3 will be allocated. Now, the waiting time for process P2 in a queue is 0 milliseconds. And the total completion time for all the process should be 17 milliseconds. Right? So what is the waiting time for process P2? It is 0 milliseconds. And what will be the process or waiting time for process P4? It will be after P2. And after 1 milliseconds, it will start its execution. So 1 millisecond is a waiting time for process P4. Now, what will be the waiting time for process P1? The waiting time for this process P1 is the waiting time for process P4 plus its execution time, that is 5. So 1 plus 5, that is 6. Now next, what will be the waiting time for process P3? The waiting time for process P3 should be the waiting time for process P1 6 plus its execution time 10, that is 60 milliseconds, right? So what is our main aim? Main aim is to find out the average waiting time or average turnaround time. So average waiting time should be what? The waiting time for process P1, waiting time for process P2, waiting time for process P3, waiting time for process P4 divided by number of processes. So what is the waiting time for process P1? It is 6 milliseconds, right? What is the waiting time for process P2? It is 0 milliseconds. What is the time for process P3? Waiting time, that is 16. And what is the waiting time for process P4? It is 1 millisecond divided by total number of processes. It means it will be near about 5.7 ms. The average turnaround time. So average turnaround time is equal to the turnaround time for process P1, turnaround time for process P2, turnaround time for process P3, and the turnaround time for process P4. Now, what is turnaround time? Turnaround time means when a process completes its job, right? So, for process P1, the turnaround time is 16 milliseconds, right? Plus, for process P2, the turnaround time is 1 milliseconds, plus, the turnaround time for process P3 is 17 milliseconds, plus, the turnaround time for process P4 is 6 milliseconds, and the total number of processes we have 4. So that should be near about 4 milliseconds. Right? So in this lecture we have discussed about average waiting time and average turnaround time. In next lecture we'll discuss about round robin scheduling algorithm. Thank you so much.